Welcome to the Blokes podcast. I'm Adam.
And I'm Greg. And we sit down once a week to shoot the breeze. We chat about anything and everything. Sports, films, drinking, politics, music, etc.
So sit back, crack open a beer and enjoy. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Hello. Yes, I'm good. Thank you very much. I'm very good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm better now. Boris has given us the green light, mate. He's put a date on it. He's only got to done it. He said he wasn't going to do it. I know it's all like, you know, as long as the data's right and all that sort of stuff, but like, screw it. Now he said 21st of June, hasn't he, for like clubs opening and like football matches and you know, all that, foreign holidays, all that sort of stuff. It's like, I'm like, I'm ready to go, mate. Already. I've already got my summer gear out.
Yeah.
Those pool parties. I
am extremely excited as well, but I will say, like, tactically, what a rook. Putting a date on it this early on, like, jeez. No one was expecting it either, so it's like no one would have been upset if he didn't like commit to a specific day, you know. Yeah. I'm glad he has, obviously, but I'm a bit worried for him. But no, huge, very, very good news. Our job haven't been made extinct. We actually have a job, hopefully, in the summer, which will be nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a way away, isn't it? It's still like a quarter of a year. So it's not, you know, it's not close.
No.
I'd prefer it to be much, much closer, but at least he's given us some light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, I know the sort of goalposts have been moved constantly over the past year, so I wouldn't be surprised if it changes again. But, you know, at least there's a bit of hope. Do you know what I mean? And the weather's getting a little bit better. It's a little bit warmer and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better this week. Feeling good.
Yeah. Good. That's good. I'm glad. Yeah, I think that having that light at the end of the tunnel is somewhat important. Yeah. Just to get through this whole nightmare that we're in. So, yeah, thank God he's done that. But it is quite far away, yeah. Now I think I haven't run the maths through my head that much, but actually, yeah. Because the next... So the kids are going back at some point. That doesn't really bother me. But... until we're legally allowed to actually see people, it's still not going to be until April, right?
Something like that, and it's in the garden. But I mean, I'm not encouraging people to break the law at all. But you know what I mean? Like, it's, I'm sure people are going to like take their own advice, aren't they? It's like, you know, people can see the figures. People are getting vaccinated, especially if they're going to see people that are vaccinated. You know, people are going to do what they want. So. Yeah, I think there's a bit of leeway there.
Yeah, no, that's exactly. I think I saw a nice stat that was saying that we effectively have less people in hospital at the moment than we did this time last year.
Oh, right. Amazing.
So that's
surely that means we are literally back to normal then, right?
So I guess the argument would be that's because of the lockdown. And if we come out of the lockdown too early, then we'll just revert back, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of my view. My view is... So the only argument that I can see for a lockdown is so that the NHS doesn't get overwhelmed, right?
Yeah.
Because the death figures are low, but what it's doing is it's hospitalising people more than we want. So if we can avoid the hospitals being overrun, then they're good. But if we are avoiding the hospitals being overrun, then what's the point in the lockdown is the other argument. Yeah. I'm not saying either side of it, but I think, you know, it's something to look into. If we're less people in hospital right now during a pandemic than there were during the end of the flu season last year, then I don't know.
Yeah,
we're probably doing something right.
Then we're golden.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, cheers to that. What are you drinking, mate?
So back to work this week. So I ran out of time to get a beer, so I'm going for a cocktail.
Oh, sweet!
Nice. For my first drink. I'm messing about with the formula a little bit here, but
I like it. Curveball.
So I've gone for an old fashioned.
Nice, great.
Which I haven't made an old fashioned for a long time. Didn't have any oranges to garnish with, but I did have some orange bitters, which has made up for that a little bit,
cool.
Which is good.
Yeah.
So I've got a bit of normal bitters in there, a bit of orange bitters in there, and then a nice helping of not bourbon. So it's actually, and it's not even Scotch either. So is it a Rob Roy, the other one that's a Scotch?
A Rob Roy's Scotch, I think. So what if it's not bourbon and it's not?
It's Irish.
Oh right.
So we'll have to come up with something for that.
God, I've got no idea.
Yeah,
that sounds awesome.
I'm sure there is one.
Yeah,
yeah. So that's what I've made.
Fantastic. Looks great. I mean, the best thing about cocktails is you can't really get sniffy about them. You can't really get snooty about the way people have made it, because the way they were all invented were people just doing a bit of a variation on something. They were just like making it up, like throwing some flavors together, and something great came out of it. So yeah, maybe that's a vibe. Maybe you can patent it, mate, and make it a thing. Maybe.
I mean, tasting it's not bad. I will say that the Irish whiskey, I think the reason there's bourbon in them generally is to have, you actually want quite a strong flavour with that Scotch. You don't want like a neutral spirit.
Yeah.
You want something to sort of punch through, and the Irish whiskey isn't doing that as well as bourbon would be doing. It's very mellow.
Right.
So I'm tasting the bitters and not a huge amount of whiskey, actually, funnily enough. I mean, you can still taste it's there, but it's the bitters have overtaken it. So if you are using Irish whiskey, I would maybe hold back on what you'd normally use, bitters-wise. Because it might overpower the whiskey, which it is doing a little bit this time. But it's still good. So, yeah.
Nice.
That's what I'm starting off with.
Fantastic. Well, I just did a quick Google, and I don't think there's a proper name. It's just an Irish old-fashioned, they call it.
Okay.
Irish old-fashioned. So
we'll come up with something. We'll put like a Instagram post up or something, and people can vote on it.
Yeah, put the bat signal out and see what people come up with. Nice.
What about you, mate? What are you on?
I'm going for an old favourite tonight. I'm going for a tin of London Pride. It's just one of my favourite beers. I think it's just an easy choice. It's a good solid London choice. You know, when you're out at a pub in the middle of town, it's usually a Fuller's pub, isn't it? Because it's a Fuller's beer. So I quite like Fuller's pubs. I mean, I know it's sort of a chain. It's it's a brewery that owns a lot of pubs, but I always think they're pretty good, like over something like a Nicholson's or a Green King or something. I quite like Fuller's. So yeah. I like all their beers as well, so maybe that's got something to do with it. But they always seem quite nice. So yeah, going for London Pride, it's just a sort of it's a classic like sort of brown ale, isn't it? Like what do they call it? They just call it an original ale, 4.7. So I guess it's on the stronger side of that style of beer, isn't it? 4.7.
Yeah.
It's brewed in Chiswick, so I've driven by there many times. I've not been to the brewery actually, so perhaps that could be could be one of the trips that we take.
12th of June, we'll book it in, or whatever the date is.
21st of June, baby. We'll book everything for that one day. Just have the most mental day ever. Yeah. Got to go to a club as well. We're going Infernos with Sam and Pete. They both want to come. Oh dear. That's going to be a night, man. It's going to be debaucherous, don't you think? Like, because he said clubs are going to open. I think it's just going to be like crazy town.
Yeah, it 100% is. I think that we've had a couple of these days, like after maybe a month of lockdown or a few weeks, but never this long.
Yeah.
People are just gagging for it so much to get out and actually have a few drinks. And I reckon people's limits will have dropped, actually.
Oh, big time.
Because people aren't binging drink much. So what that means is when they do go out and they have their fifth pint or whatever they're used to having, they're already a pint too far gone, It's too late. They're past the point of no return at that point. So, it's going to be a nasty one.
Yeah. In fact, despite not having worked in a sort of live musical sense for the past year, I actually pray that I don't get a gig on that one night on the easing of lockdown. I'm like, I might dep out that one gig, just that one night. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Just to experience it in the flesh.
It's going to be like VE Day or whatever it is, Victory Day.
There'll be like paintings and photos from years from now, and like of that sailor like kissing the nurse or something.
It's not going to look that PC. Is it? It's not going to look that clean.
No, a bit of pencil skirt halfway up her shoulders, and some bloke with skinny jeans and tats down his arm.
Yeah. I hope those four blokes, the four blokes meme that we talked about a while. I hope they go out and recreate that night, recreate the photo for everybody. as a
That's
present.
not the all-bar one. Yeah. Oh, God.
Oh, dear. Mate, I wanted to talk to you about breakfast, all right? Because I feel like, breakfast, the meal, right? Okay. So I feel like it's it's one of the most, if not the most important meal of the day, right? And I've just, past couple of weeks, I've just been really going in on the breakfasts. I've been making like the biggest fry-ups, whatever style I've been going for, I've been going in. So the porridges, the midweek breakfasts have like had all the trimmings. They've had all the maple syrup, all the berries, or whatever. For the fry-ups, I've been going all in. Hash browns, loads of sausages, loads of bacon, all that. I've been making huevos rancheros. Have you ever tried that?
Yeah.
In the Mexican classics. I don't know whether it's proper Mexican or Tex-Mex, or it's that neck of the woods, isn't it? And yeah, I'm just in a breakfast mindset, right? And I've been seeing these cafes online. Like, obviously, they're not open at the moment. They do takeaways and stuff. But and I just, I want to add this to the list as well. Go for one of these incredible London breakfasts. There's one called the Regency Cafe in sort of Westminster way, and there's another one called Terry's Cafe in Borough, and they both look like super old school, but done well. So there's like the checkered tablecloths in there. You get serious quantity. The quality's great. But it's just like a fantastic version of a dirty fry-up, and I just really want to try it.
Interesting. Okay, so but it's not too posh.
It's not too posh, but it's like it's been done really well. So it's clean, and it's it's not. We've been to a few places that are like incredible on a hangover, but they're disgusting, aren't they? Like there's one in every single town. Like, but they're incredible. They've got their place. I love them to pieces. But this is like that style, but done really well.
Okay.
But don't worry, the price hasn't been doubled. It's still a sensible price, which is the main thing I like about it. Because obviously you can get one of these Gordon Ramsay fry-ups, which he keeps getting destroyed on Twitter for, because they're just terrible. Like, there's no quantity's terrible. They're all dry. There's the usual culprits, right? But this place seems to have done, or these couple of places seem to have done everything right, and I really want to go. Are you down?
Okay. Yeah, of course, mate. Always down for that. So you've put me to shame with your breakfast takers, though, over the last sort of lockdown. It seems. If I'm going to put effort into a meal, that I do feel that breakfast is the last meal I put the effort in.
Right.
I don't know about you, but
what about the weekend?
Even the weekend, not even that bothered, because in the weekend I'll probably have a bit of a lie-in.
Yeah.
I mean, not that late, to be honest, but I'll quite easily not eat breakfast, actually, some days.
Right,
Most days, nowadays, actually. So I'll work my way through to lunch, and then now I'm at lunch. I've not had breakfast, so I'm really hungry.
Yeah.
And that's where things will go down. But, yeah, no, I think in order of importance, meal-wise, to me, is dinner, lunch, breakfast.
Right.
From first to last.
Interesting.
I don't know. How does that change for you?
Oh man, it's tough. When I think I've worked it out, it just flips around. I think I just like them all. I just like eating. I'm really fat inside. I don't look fat, but I'm a big fat guy inside.
You better hope your metabolism doesn't drop.
Man. People have been saying that for years, and it's just not kicking in. So far so good. All right. I think my mum's like my dad's got the sort of fat gene. He's not fat, but he could be if he didn't keep a lid on it, right? Mm-hmm. But my mum's not. She's the opposite. Mum's just like naturally very svelte, right? So I think her gene must be the dominant one, and that's keeping me from becoming a massive whale, basically. So yeah, thanks to Mum for that one.
Yeah, but, right.
Yeah, I mean, they're all equally important. I think it depends. Like on a weekday, like lunch, I love going all in on a weekday lunch. But then on the weekend, I'll sometimes skip the lunch and I'll go massive all-in breakfast and then not eat again till the massive all-in dinner. Do you know what I mean? I've just missed that middle meal. I
think I would say, just from an outsider looking in on you, lunch is the least important meal to you, because, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but you tend to have a very similar lunch most days.
Yeah, that's true.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't know whether you want to share.
Yeah, by all means. My regular weekday lunch, almost exactly the same every day, unless I've got to eat something up, or if I've got a choice, I'm going to